Good day everyone. Our topic today is the lesson 4 PATS and digital subscriber lines installation. First is installing public old telephone system or PATS subscriber line. So first atong ilalahon kung unsa na ang PATS. So PATS is also known as a plain old telephone service or public old telephone system. It refers to the traditional analog voice transmission phone system implemented over physical copper wires. Simply but POTS is the basic telephone call service that individuals and businesses have been using since the 1880s.
So here's the list of tools and materials. So the first one is screwdriver. Is used for driving screw, available in many sizes. So kaning screwdriver is familiar na siya kani sa tuan no kay mo ni ginagamit sa ato ang balay, especially kung suguon ta sa atong papa man, papa palihog ko sa screwdriver ana kay para gamiton. So familiar siya kani sa tuwa kay naa ni siya sa tuang balay. Next one is the long nose pliers. Have long slider jaws that are flat on the inside used for such purposes in gripping, small particle switching places not accessible by hand. So kani siya kay ikaduha sa ni siya sa screwdriver no makita rin nato sa ato ang panimalay. So the next one is the diagonal side cutter. Are equipped with cutting jaws that are cut an angle of about 15 degrees used for with cutting in general of any of this type. So, gawas sa ani nila sa longest pliers o sa screwdriver is naasa nisa sa tuang balay. The next one is the bridle ring. Reduce potential wire abrasion, minimize magnetic interferences to communication signals, and it's easier to install. The shape and flexible of the improved ridge ring enable it to be open wider than existing metallic bridge rings, allowing easier insertion of wires. Non-metallic construction minimizes potential wire abrasion and reduces the possibility of magnetic interference with communication sign. Next one is extension ladder. Is on the most important cable splicers equipment made of fiberglass and a strap attached on a messenger wire on a serial operations in place in the pole when testing on terminals. So the next one is hand hat. Protect worker from falling object or debris. So gani siya is familiar jud kay sa tuwa sa tanan no kay bas kabang kita magurutan ng mga trabahantes dyan siya is magdala mo dyan as mga hand hat na siyang protect sa itong ulo kay for example is nag-work mo yan ay matagak may nanay mo sa or na mo protect sa yung ulo sure. So the next one is safety belt and strap, used to support workmen while working ladders or any location when it affords safely to the wearer at the same time it allows freedom of the arms and feet in the performance of required tasks. So kani siya is kabantay mo ng mga kuan sa sibiko mo siya inana sa no mga belt para sa na siya mo protect sa kanang mukatkat sa kanang poste ba mo na siya kanang ibutang dire. Safety belt and strap. So the next is distribution point or cable terminals. Conventional binding post type cable terminals. So connet terminals can be identified with its light green color metal housing. So next is screw type cable terminals. Cheatherwork terminals can be identified with its off-wall color housing. Ericsson terminals can be identified with its black color dome type housing. So next is insulation displacement connection. Terminals can be identified when its light gray color housing for thin pair type, anodized aluminum housing for 25 pair. So Richim determinator 2 terminals can be identified when its light gray color housing for 10 pair type, anodized aluminum housing for 25 pair type. Next is Marconi insulator. So these terminals can be identified when it's light green color metal housing. So here's the rules for hand tools. So we have 4 rules. So the first one is use for personal protective equipment. So the third one is make sure the tools you select for the job are in first class condition. So the last one is use tools properly. So mo na siya ang upat ka buok nga rules for hand tools. That's all.
So next is the list of tools and materials. First is the job wires. There are two types of wires. There are two types of job wires used in PLDT SIM plant, and these are the copper-clad steel job wires and the fiber-reinforced job wire. Copper-clad steel job wire. The conductor of this job wire is made of steel with a copper cladding. The jacket is made of polyethylene or polyvinyl chloride. Fiber-reinforced job wire. The conductor are made of soft anode copper and insulated with polyethylene. The outer jacket is made of polyvinyl chloride. Next is the pull clamp with hook nuts on wooden pulls. Power utilities may not allow the use of drive hooks on their wooden pulls. Pull clamp with the hook nuts can be used as shown in figure A. As you can see, makita mo dira ang figure A. So next is pull clamp with hook nut installation, the concrete pull with drop wires on pull to pull and pull to building runs shown in figure B. Makita sa diya sa figure B kanang picture nga sa B, nga picture sa B din. Additional pull clamps with hook nuts can be installed to accommodate additional drop wires. So next is placing drive hooks or J hooks on wooden pulls. Now drive hook can be used only on wooden pulls owned by the PLDT. Pull clamps with hook nuts shall be used on wooden pulls not owned by the PLDT. So next is stainless steel drop wire clamp. Now the clamp consists of stainless steel shell, wedge wire, bail or tail wire, and a plastic polyethylene or shim. Two sizes are available to accommodate the copper clad and the fiber reinforced drop wire. Now the clamp can be used in corrosive and non-corrosive areas. Plastic drop wires clamp. The clamp consists of stainless steel wire bailed integrally molded with a plastic wedge clamp. A joining plastic member contains a corresponding wedge with a serration for gripping the drop wire. The clamps can only accommodate the copper-clad and the fiber-reinforced drop wire. Now, the clamp can be used in corrosive and non-corrosive areas. Next is the installation requirements. For wood surface, house bracket can be mounted directly using wood screws. For concrete walls, house bracket can be mounted using plastic anchors and wood screws. Next is the gun-heller stapling. So gun-heller stapling is used to secure jacketed inside wire in wood surface. Inside wire jacketed wire is used as a medium to connect the station protector and connecting block. These wires were typically copper, although aluminum has also been used and were carried in pairs. So next is the connecting block used to terminate interior wire as a final attachment. It provides point of connection between the instrument line cord and interior wire. Telephone instrument is defined as an apparatus for reproducing sound, especially that of the human voice or speech at a great distance, by means of electricity consisting of transmitting and receiving instrument connected by a line or wire which conveys the electric current.
Okay, so next is kung paano naman mag-install ng POT subscribers lines. So first procedure, which is to arrange tools, materials, and equipment needed. So we must also think that in order for us easily to find, we must arrange the materials and tools. Also to avoid accidents, because in arranging kung mag-arrange ta sa atong tools, kanang dili magsagsaag ang mga gamit. Then also equipment needed. So need yun nga pwede mahimo nga kung unsay gamiton mao say dalhon kay actually kung magdadagit tagdagan tapos dili magamit. So next, extend ladder to pull as manufacturer's specifications and techniques. So next is wear safety gadgets to prevent accidents. So in doing an installations or mag-install ka or when it comes to kuryente or others, no, you must also wear an appropriate mga sul-utonon to avoid and to prevent accidents lalo na sa kuryente. So to avoid na rin sa kurintihan. Next is accent and design or pull with care. So atog yun ng ingatan. So install jumper wire on the assigned cable per ADP. Next, install pull attachment and parallel work or wire. Install house attachment and drop wires on sub premises. Next, install station protectors and grounding. So, actually, kung mag-install gyud ta o magkuan ta mga kuryente, magtaod gyud na magtaod gyud na sila, no? Kanang magtawag yun na sila og mga grounding. So to avoid ka ng magkilat-kilat, nga na siya. So next is connect and drop wires and inside wires in the stations protectors. So sa report from the previous slide, makita dito ang mga layouts, no? And fix permanently inside the wire. Next, install connecting block and connect the inside. So, syempre, adto gyud ta mag-kuan sa inside. Dili na to siya ipagawas. Kay, kung mapagawas siya, there's naay posibilidad nga makurinti, mag-ground, makuan na siya, mag-grounded. Next is install and connect the telephone instrument to the CB key. So, mao to ang mga procedure which is kung paano mag-install ng PAT subscriber lines or the public old telephone system PAT subscriber lines.
So next is the do's and don'ts after installation. First is be always neat about your appearance and work. Second, make your work permanent. And the third, be sure all tools are all accounted and excess materials are removed within the customer premises. Fourth is do test telephone instrument after the installation for correct dial speed, transmission, reception, and low-level noise. Fifth, always leave the new customer with the thought that you have done your work properly. And next is don't leave customers' premises unless customer is familiar with the operation of the particular telephone set. Next is don't drop a hint to the customer that you are hungry or thirsty. And the next is do not tell customers or people who question you about additional lines, etc. that lots of facilities are available. You could be wrong. So last is don't tell customer or people who question you about facilities to call executive of PLDT. As PLDT, you represent PLDT. Make note and give it to your supervision.
So hello, and now let's proceed to installing Digital Subscriber Line or DSL. Preparation of materials and equipment for DSL modem installation. The following are the list of materials and equipment. First, registered jack or are also known as RJ11. RJ11 is a standardized physical network interface, both jack construction and wiring pattern for connecting telecommunications or data equipment to a service provided by a local exchange carrier or long-distance carrier. Now, RJ11 was widely used in analog telephony to connect the phone instrument and the cable. That was before. But nowadays, RJ11 mostly used to connect to modems, and it's still used in landlines. RJ11 is a 4 slits connector and has 6 pins, which means RJ11 cannot fit into an RJ45 slots. So now let's proceed to DSL splitter or microfilter. The DSL splitter is an analog low-pass filter installed between analog devices, such as telephones or analog modem, and a plain old telephone service, or also known as PATS telephone line. In order to prevent interference between such devices and digital subscriber line services operating on the same line. So what is the purpose of DSL splitter? So the purpose of this DSL splitter over POTS or PAT splitter is to separate the transmission of PAT signals and DSL signals, which enables a simultaneous transmission of both voice and data on the same twisted pair para dili sila mag-loading. So now let's proceed to register jack 45, or also known as RJ45. So RJ45 is a connector and a wiring pattern of use for connection of high-speed modem to a telephone network using a CADE 8P8C modular connector. So what is the use of RJ45? RJ45 is not only useful for transferring data and information, but are also useful for allowing 2 or more machines or devices to communicate with each other at a fast rate of speed. So RJ45 basically a connector allows for the network between each other to stay strong. So siya may mo-hold para magdugay ang isa ka network para dili mag-loading o mawagtag kalit parehas niya. So, kidding aside. Let's have here number 4, digital subscriber line or DSL modem. So what is DSL modem? DSL modem is a device used to connect a computer or router to a telephone circuit that has digital subscriber line service configured. So what is the use of DSL modem? DSL modem is formally called sa una, gitawag ni siya as a digital subscriber loop. Type ni siya nga internet connection that uses the voice frequency of telephone lines to send and receive internet data and traffic. So kani siya nga connection kay if ever na kay downloads, mas dali lang siya ma-download if kung ang user dool ra siya sa DSL provider or DSL modem. So now let's proceed to number 5, the network interface controller, or also known as the network interface card. The network interface card is a computer hardware component that connects a computer to a computer network. So, NIC uses the physical layer to transmit signals and the network layer to transmit data packets. Network interface card offers both wired or using cables, o pwede po siya sa wireless or using Wi-Fi or data. Pwede na siya ana. So since we are done talking about the preparation of materials and equipment for digital subscriber line modem installation, let's proceed to the short history about DSL. So ngano na DSL, kanus as siya na develop og unsay reason. So now, when DSL was first developed in 1989, so dugay na jud kaayo siya na develop, no? It was designed primarily for video purposes. Video on demand, or also known as VOD, was viewed as a next generation service supporting the next generation network from telephone companies around the world. Video on demand was expected to be the telephone company's way of competing with cable television providers. O para ma-possible na siya, to make it possible, ADSL was the technology ilang gamiton. So due to the increasing demand of PC users, which captured the attention of both cable TV providers and telephone companies, DSL technology was born. So mao to siya rason nga nang na DSL technology. Nga na DSL technology karon. Tungod di ay sa demand of PC users nga naka-captured sa attention sa both cable TV and telephone companies. So what is digital subscriber line or DSL? DSL uses much broader range of frequency than the voice channel. Dili lang siya pang telephone, pang TV, kundili pwede na siya sa duha o mas easier to carry or mas easier siya gamiton kontra sa katong previous nga ipanggamit nila like katong telephone o katong TV. So, since naka-mention ko ganina on sa ADSL di ay guys is asymmetric digital subscriber line. A type of digital subscriber data communication technology that enable faster data transmission over copper telephone lines than a conventional voice band modem can provide. ADSL or asymmetrical digital subscriber line differs from less common symmetric digital subscriber line. So, mas nindot siya, mas pas siya mo transmit og network. Kontra sa katong mga previous nga lang panggamit like katong telephone, katong TV, mo na siya. These are the following reason nganong DSL is much nice siya ganitong ADSL. So now let's
Arin sa install kung paano mag-install ng digital subscriber line or DCL. So first procedure is same with number 1. Arrange the materials and tools and equipments needed. So mag-arrange yun na para madali ra nato makitaan, and especially kanang dili kanang sa ina and to avoid accidents. Next, make sure that there is a dial tone by lifting. So by lifting the hand on the set or by pushing the hands-free button on the cellphone. So of course kanang mga karaan nga cellphone ay mga dial di ba na mga tone kung tingog ba siya when it comes kung dili siya matingog minsan agad siya guba or somehow, no? So next is connect the splitter to the connect block. So next is connect the modem and telephone to the designated. Kuan gyud ta mag-install kailangan gyud i-connect the modem telephone ato sa designated parts of the splitter by separate the cord and RG11. RG11 was na-discuss ni Enrique Ricanda sa previous sa kanya slide. Next is plug the power supply of the modern on sub-electrical socket with 220 volt power and look on the green light or the power lead indicator. So, maato gyud na i-check in order nga kung under ba siya or wala. Next, check the modern if there is a steady green light of the DCL lead indicator. So, mao na akong giingon ato gyud siya i-check in order for mga mahibaw kani siya nag-andar na kay sige tag kubi-kubi tapos sige tag kubi-kubi na nag-andar na dito. So, bisang madaot sad no. Next is check if there's a flashing light on the modern internet lead indicators. So, lagi siyang i-check. Na may kasagaran na mga nga ato na mga light, no flashing light. So, next is go to the browser of the PC, laptop, and browser. So, anong need man ta mo ato because somehow research or somehow need siyang mag-install pa siya. So, okay, so that's so those are procedures in installing the digital subscriber lines.
So now let's proceed to the do's and don'ts after installation. This is very important since this will serve as our guide para ma-aware ta kung unsay angay itong buhaton after installation. So first, we have the be always neat about your appearance and work para dili magduda sa imuha ang customer kung kibaw pa ka sa ilang ipaobra nila. Second is make your work permanent. Dili kay magdali-dali kasi mong obra. Kay kasagaran man good magdali-dali ka, muna na siya maka-result into kanang ganing dali ra ma-damage imong giubra. And we always remember nga first impression will last. Third, be sure all the boxes and wrappings of materials and equipment are removed within the customer premises. Kay bati sa kayo ang customer imong palimpyuhon sa imong agi. Manang kung imuhang agi, ikasay mang limpyo. Fourth, do test DSL connection regarding within its speed and browsing and telephone instrument after the installation for correct dial speed, transmission, reception, and low-level noise. Para imo mo na siyang kailangan naman siya i-test kung effective ba imong pag-install. Muna siya. And then fifth, always leave the new customer within the thought that you have done your work properly. So kinahanglan magpag-good impress jud ka sa imong customer para daghang kag customer kay makaingon sa kani siya nga kanang installer nindot ni siya kay effective jud siya nga install. So daghan na kag customer ana later on. Okay, daghang more recommend sa imo ha. So 6 is don't leave customer premises unless customer is familiar with the operation of DSL, particularly in using their username and password. So dili jud nimo biyaan ang imong customer unless kibaw na sila sa pasikot-sikot sa DSL. Okay, 7th is don't drop a hint to the customer that you are hungry or thirsty. Kaya bisag gigutom ka dira o giuhaw ka, dili jud ka mag-leave og hint sa customer para namang koy customer nga dali ra malain ba. So to avoid na lang for some issues like that. Then lastly, we have the number 8. Don't tell customer people question you about facilities to call executive PLDT. Make note and give it to your supervisor. So kani siya for privacy purposes. So dili jud ka magsulti-sulti regarding sa imong giubra dito or sa mga places ni imong gikuanan. Pwede na ka mag-take note sa imong giubra pero not the premises, dili sa katong lugar para ang privacy sa customer lang sad.
That's for all today. Thanks and God bless us all.